Okay, we're by myself again. Now you get my crappy tripod shots, which I hate. Okay, we're going to work on the clutch cable right now. So I got the loosen up the jam nut back here on the adjuster, which you can't see right now because it's buried in the hole. And then we're going to go up, you may gotta make sure you got free play here at the cable. So there's your free play. You can hear it, can't really see it. And then we also have a lot of free play up here and a lever way up here. Because if we got clearance here, we got up there. Excuse me. Okay, now we take our center screw over here. And we go ahead and adjust it. Okay, it had tension on it when I put it on there, so we have some differences in heights here. Basically, you just move it until it gets tight, which you can't see because the tripod sucks. So, here's my adjuster. So we're tightening this up here. So we got zero clearance there, and got a little tension to about here. So you can keep turning in if you want to release clutch, but that's not what we're after doing. So, not sure why we're getting that resistance in there. So make sure you got free play. You have to have free play up here, or you won't get a true number down here. So there's something's obviously binding a little bit right there. So anyway, you give it a little bit, you back it off. You know, we're just touching right here. This is it more. And I got another eighth of a turn or whatever in there. So you want to give yourself a quarter turn to a half a turn, depending on how your ramp is. So I basically just turn the screwdriver like that. I hold it here. I tighten this nut down here with my fingers, and then I tighten it down with the wrench, wherever it is right here. And then we're going to come back and take up our clearances in this right here. So we'll go back to our stupid tripod, because I need both my hands. There we go. Okay, so see what we want. Back it off a little bit. Tighten with the screwdriver, and we tighten it with a wrench. Okay, now we got to take out our free play here. So let me see if I can get this a little bit tighter in here. Problem is it's in the way of me. Alright, so right now we got the free play right here. Ooh, that wrench is tight. And let's see, wrench. Okay, I go ahead and take up some free play here. Now you're supposed to have about 1/8 of an inch to 1/16 of an inch. Usually about a 1/16 here and up to 1/8 on the top. So you pull up on it, make sure you get it all out. You go close to zero. Put the nut all the way down. Make sure it's semi-close. You go up your top and you pull it. You're making a little bit of clicking noise here in the back of the primary. The clutch is clicking every now and then, you hear it. You don't want to be making clicking noises. Hear that? Something is not happy back there. Usually it's at the very top of the stroke it does it, but it's doing it at the beginning of the stroke, so something's not lined up right. I'm not sure what. So I don't know if one of those ball bearings slid over on me, which is always possible. But easy when that happens, you can see the adjuster off center down here. I don't know what the hell is making that noise. So I'm going to go back and double check this, see if something changed on this. Okay, so it's pretty much about the same. Doesn't really change any. So I'm going to change where I had adjusted by about an eighth of a turn different. See, that's that noise right there we're getting. I don't know what that is. Well, I know something's not right. And I don't like not right. So that means we're pulling all back apart, because I don't like that noise. So that means I'm going to take it apart, double check the worm mechanism, make sure there's something wrong in there, the bearing fell out or something. I don't know, there's something's not right down in there. Like I said, I don't like it, so if I don't like it, we're going to fix it. So that means we get to pull this whole thing back apart. What fun. That's why you do all of this before you put oil in it. You have to put oil, add oil in it. I'm going to have a big mess to deal with right now. A lot of times you get that clicking noise when it comes out the top of the ramp. The ball will actually come out the top of your ramp because you put too much free play down here in the clutch. But in this case here, that's not what's going on, because it's clicking right from the beginning, like something's being forced over for alignment purposes. And then it works fine after that. So something is not correct in there. My guess is one of those balls slid over to one side where it ain't supposed to be. Which means I put it together wrong. It works pretty freely, so I don't know about that one. But that's why you take it apart, you know. I always like leaving this bolt for last, because it's the center of the primary holds it real good up in the air. Don't have to worry about dropping on the floor or anything. Okay. Bolt in there somewhere? Nope. Nope, they're all out. Oil leakage already. Ball and ramp seems to be good in here. Yeah, everything seems to be functioning correctly. This button piece isn't bottoming out, so I've actually had them dig holes all the way through these buttons when these bearings get bad in here. So I'm just making sure it's not bottoming out or doing anything stupid in there. It all looks good. It doesn't appear to have a real deep mark that grabs into. Seems to be all nice and free. So I don't know what the problem is. Alright, well, put it back together and see if we can determine something else is wrong. Try a little bit different how an adjustment I did on it. Maybe that'll make a difference. I don't know. Something is not right. That's what I know. I always have these little fun surprises to deal with. Keeps videos interesting, right? Now this is a format material gasket here, so it's reusable. So we don't have to replace it every time we take the cover on and off, theoretically. It's like anything you compress at once, it's compressed. These have a certain amount of spring back to them, but only so much. Find the sweet spot there where it goes in. All right. Let's see, where's my screwdriver? Okay, this time I'm going to try to put a little tension on the clutch to help center the primary cover. Now before I center it off the cover here, right here, top to bottom. Okay, this time you can hear it when it's hitting on it. Okay, it does not want to be all the way up here in the front, it wants to be slightly down. So I'm going to center up to where it wants to be down here, which is slightly different to where it was. So that means when they made this primary cover, this hole is not dead center of the clutch where it's supposed to be. So we have a slight misalignment in there. That might have been enough of a reason to cause it to make that clicking noise. So we'll find out. See these screws in here. I'm not going to put them all in this time. I'll just get a few of them in here. Alright. Back that off a little bit. Make sure we got free play up there. getting it at times there. Yeah. Don't do it every time. Just some of the time. There we go again. It's not consistent. Wiggle around a little bit, stick it in there. Doesn't do it. And it does it once. And I don't know what that is. Does it again. Yeah. Don't know. It's not affecting how it works. It doesn't sound good. I don't know what the hell that is. The ball I ramped didn't look like it was pitting out that I could see. I didn't inspect it all the way around all three of them because you can't see the one with Harley at all. I didn't notice anything coming apart in there, but doesn't mean it's not. Well, I know it's not affecting how it works, I know that. It's not consistent enough to be we can figure out what it is. So that comes in one of those deals. If it's not being every time, it's going to live with it a little bit. Let's see which we can throw this one up here. Yeah, see it? I don't know what the hell that is. Does it every few times, but not consistent. Let's try giving it more free play. You have too much free play, it won't release the clutch all the way. You gotta be careful. I'm trying to avoid that. I think I'm pretty close to that now. First time I hit it, same thing. It's more consistent. I only got one that time, it's not doing any more. Looks like that did it. So I wanted more free play in the system. So we're about 5/8 of a turn of free play now. Alright. Seems to be that's the number it wants. Alright. We'll go with that. Okay, now over here we got a little free play right here. What I do is I put tension on the cable. I put about 5-10 pounds of pressure. And then I go back and forth. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right here. There's about a 1/16 of an inch of free play. That's initially where I put them out. Now if you go up here, up the top, up here, and you look right in here. See if I can look high enough yet. Oop. Right there where my finger is. You look up there and you got about 1/8 of an inch of free play. Let's see if I can get this where the camera can actually see something. This sucks. Stupid ass tripods. I don't know why everybody likes those, but I hate them. So the clearance we're looking at is right here where my finger is. You see you got about 1/8 of an inch right there. So because of the mechanical ratio, you get more gap up here than you do when you're down over here. Right here, there's less. So see this one here, you can see it. So there you go. So that's how we adjust the cable. No matter what you do with your adjustment, you want to make sure you have free play on this, so that means it's free to move around here. If you got tension on this, your clutch is going to slip. So if you give it too much free play, it won't release. So if you give it too much, or if you take too much out of here, too little, it's a matter of the ball and ramp is at. You can put the ball in different parts of the ramp depending on how you adjust these two parts, here and up here. If it comes out the top of the ramp, that's usually when you get a big clicking noise because it goes up and click goes across. For some reason I was getting down the bottom of the ramp. It was way down here low. I don't know why. I like putting it down about 1/3 of the way up the ramp and get that whole distance to work with. But for some reason I didn't like that, so we gave it a little more clearance. It appears to be not making a noise. So I only got the one click and it hasn't done it since. So there we go. So fun with adjustments. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and torque the rest of these screws down. You don't want to take off and forget to do this. Be nice, you get halfway home, you find out your primary bolts are falling out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and give it our torque. Now I'm not getting full depth of thread here, so these are easy to torque. You can actually strip these relatively easy if you over torque them. And I can definitely feel them that they're relatively soft. Even at that primary gas, it's got a lot of give in it. That's always possible too, I guess. Okay, those are all tight. Get the little small one on the bottom here. There we go. Okay, now we can go ahead and tighten up this plug here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of goop on there just like it was before. Let's see if this is enough goop in here to work. This goop is getting pretty solid. I think a little bit thicker of goop would be more like an O-ring, so that's why I'm putting this old stuff in here. It's been sitting around long enough, it's getting hard in the tube, so it's too hard to use on most everything I do now. So, but for this application, have a nice real thick layer in here might be an advantage, so that's why I'm using it. There's always reasons why you do different things. It's up to you to determine what you need done and then how you're going to do it. Okay, I just put some torque on there, not a ton of it, just a little bit. Okay, after you're all done, go ahead and wipe down everything. That way you know there's no oil anywhere. So if you have any oil anywhere, you know you got a leak. It's actually a very important thing to know. A lot of times leaks that leak off primary covers are not actually primary cover leaking, it's something further down the river there. It just happens to be at the low spot, so it collects everything. So just clean up the whole area. You run your hand across, make sure you don't feel anything. Because you'll feel it long before you see it. So see, there's no oil on my fingers running across the whole bottom. And I was going this far inside the gasket area too. So the whole area is now clean. So that way you know it's good to go. So you gotta get our oil. So I like Maxima oil, so I'm using our Maxima Sportster lube. It's the same oil as the primary lube too. In case you don't have the other one, you use a primary lube. It's the same blue bottle, same oil in it. They just package it for 2 different applications. Now it takes just under a full quart. If you want to put the correct amount in there, you have a level plug right down here in the bottom. You pull that out, you put oil in there, it'll start coming out, put the plug back in it real quick, and then see if it still drips out after you do that. Sometimes it goes down the inside and right out the bottom, so you gotta be careful. Usually when you look in there with a flashlight, you can just barely see the oil just getting across the top of the chain. You got that chain shoe going like this. There's oil, the chain comes down, the oil should be right into that chain, right in that one spot down here, which is down the bottom. So you can look in there and see it. There's also a hex head bolt, and the oil should be about halfway up that hex head, if you can see it in there. It's a trapdoor bolt down inside there. So you're usually going to have about this much left of oil to be correct. If you put it all in, it doesn't hurt anything. So I usually just dump the whole damn thing in there. Doesn't matter if you get a little extra oil in the primary or tranny. It's better to be too much in there than not enough, I'll tell you that. Especially if you like to rev your bike up a lot neutral, you definitely want too much oil in there. Otherwise you will burn up the third gear main shaft gear. I do it all the time on my race bike. You don't like that 8,000 plus RPM in neutral for more than about 30 seconds and it burns it up. So it's already not coming out the bottom, which is a good sign. And after you're done, go ahead and put your plug in there. There should be an O-ring on there. Should be good to go. I think this is like a Southern Ace. Crescent wrench works too. Okay. Okay, you wipe it all down, and this part's done. So now we got to get our brake lever back together in the back over here. Get that over here. Drop this down so you can see a little better maybe. So anyway, your lever's right here and your foot peg's right up in here. So you got to put the foot peg on first. This is your foot peg. So you have a little 7/16 headed bolt here, which is a 1/4 inch fine thread. You got to take the bolt out to put it on. So you stick it up on there, and you match it up to what the other peg is on the other side. So you can either run it all the way back or slightly forward. There's one position up. That's the middle position, where it's supposed to be. Usually I get up on top of the rack and look down. You can see straight down better. Looks to be lined up when you're there. So you're going to take your bolt, put it in there. Make sure the peg's all the way in. There's actually a groove in the frame there for the bolt to go through. So it's a 7/16 hex, so use a 7/16 socket. Tighten it up good. Make sure you're good and snug. We are. So we're good. Okay, now we go put the brake lever on it. So that has a bolt here in the back that goes all the way through it. Right there. 5/16 bolt. Yeah, it's about 1.25 inches as I recall. There we go. Yeah, it looks like about 1.25 inches. Now you have a lock nut on the top of it. That's what I use. And you got a brake pedal return spring here. So the straight edge here goes against the back of the primary cover. It goes in first. The little loop around here goes in the brake lever. The brake lever has a pin right here on the back side. It hooks in there. So what you do is you put it on the bike without being hooked in. Get the lever about halfway on, so it started on the splines. There's splines in here. And then, I don't know if you can see them, but something like that. And once you get in there, you take a big screwdriver, lift this up, and pop it around the tang right there. And then you beat the whole thing together. That's the easiest way to do these things. If you do it any other way, it's just really a pain in the ass. I'm not even sure if you can even do it another way. So that's how I do it. So where are we at here now? Okay, so I got the spring on here right now. It doesn't matter if it's up or down, because it doesn't matter. Okay, you put the lever on where you want it to be. Basically, you want it really close to the bottom of the foot peg here. You got to reach across and make sure you hold it in over on this other side, or you just shove it all the way through. You want to be doing that. I'll just hold that a little bit. For some reason, this one's tight. Shouldn't be that hard to do, but for some reason, it wants to be hard. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now going on slightly more than I want it to go. You just tap it back out. That's what that lug works good for. That wasn't what it was originally for, but it works good for that. Okay, now you just take a screwdriver, stick it in this loop, and lift it up. Put it up on there. I use a large flat blade. Here's my large flat blade. And just reach around, you catch the end of it. You just pick it up with your hand. And it is stiff. I'm too far away right now, so I'm going to slide it a little closer. Damn. This is a stiff spring. I'm too far out. Just making it harder. There it goes. Definitely a workout on that one. Okay, just beat it until it's flush with the shaft right here. It's easy about the right spot. Put the bolt in there. The bolt should slide in. If it doesn't, you're not enough or too far. In this case, I want to go further in, so this one sticks out about 30th out past. The bolt should fall in and out when it's correctly in there. So you can see how it goes in there now. And we got the hex nut goes on top. Put a little dab of Loctite on it just in case. It is your brake, so you want double protection. You want to make sure it does not fall off. Could be an end of a good day there if your brakes quit working on you. It would make somebody not happy. Okay, you just lay the nut in there. Come in there with the bolt from below. Screwdriver from the top to kind of hold it. There it goes. Goes on top of it. And just once you get it started, you should be fine. There we go. go ahead and tighten it all up. I like using my double box wrench for torque. See if I can use it. Looks like the brake lever is going to keep me from doing that too much. Yeah. Have to use a ratchet. I can torque better with a double box wrench. That's why I prefer that. But most of the time you can't get this on top of here, and this one will not go there either. It's basically a three-handed operation here. You gotta hold the socket square and where it needs to be, and hold the wrench too. So there you go, 3 at a time. Okay, brake lever now works correctly. So I don't know if the brake drags or not. I'll figure that when I adjust the rear brake. We'll jack this thing up. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and check underneath for any kind of oil leakage. So I got some old black oil, so I guess I didn't get quite all of it out of there. It's leaking down from someplace else, I'm not sure. Let's go back in there and do it again. The new oil's clear, so when you get black oil, you know it's not new stuff. Must have missed a spot or something, not sure. So we're clean. Yep. Good deal. Alright, so the primary part of the job is done. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up the battery up here, and then we're going to do check the other stuff out, the rear brake and all that crap. We also get the spark plugs up in here. So the spark plugs, I like NGK plugs. So I use B6Ls, which are 7/16 reach, which is only for a Sportster. It's also for old panheads too if you run them hard, because it's a 6 heat range. And stock would be a 5 for a big twin. I use my little silver dollar gap checker. I put about 28 thou. If you look at it, it's about 28. Let me check them. Go ahead and put them on in there. We already did all our timing. So go ahead and stick them in here and tighten them down. So I like using my long wrench here for doing this. Now I always collapse the squeeze washer, come back, loosen it, and then put a little torque on it. You always want to check those after you put 20 miles on or so, make sure the plugs haven't loosened up on you. Even when you torque them in that much, you can come back and check. He's got some of my old good 8.8 plug wires on here. So there we go. That wasn't too hard to do. Batteries are straightforward. We've got some different foam pads in here. This is a seal battery. Still lead acid, but it's sealed, so except running it upside down, you shouldn't get any liquid out of it. So that's a big plus. The problem with these is the nuts. You have these really thin nuts here that go slip in right up into here, and they can fall out, and it's hard to get the screw long enough to go in there. So sometimes you can stick a little piece of paper or something in there to bring it up high enough. With only one cable per nut, I think we can make it work. So we'll see. And they put these little stops right here so the nut doesn't go too far in anymore, like they used to do it. So we'll go ahead and try to ground first, because it's the one that's on the inside which is hardest to get to. And let's see, it's a Phillips screwdriver. Yep, we grabbed the nut. Good. I'm not going to tighten it all the way up, just a little bit. And this one has a little washer on it, so it's probably this big one. Cut the nut right off. Good deal. Okay, we are in there. Get the strap out of the way. Okay, looks like I had a pad on the inside of this. This one obviously was on top. You can tell by the indent marks right here. So this one looks like it's cut for the front. And there's one more on the other side of the bike I can't get to. There's the lid out. Looks like this one has a rubber pad I put in the bottom, which I didn't put in yet, so let's pop all this back out. Yeah, shouldn't have a pad there, we got that sitting there, but maybe this is from something else, I'm not sure. Let's see, maybe one on the back side, possibly. Hard to tell. Maybe it's out of something else or just laying around. Shouldn't have to put one on this side. I think it's just something that's laying on the bench. Let's see, how many different ones do we got here? Okay, we don't have one for the back side. So that must be, I'm guessing it went like that. There's already a pad there and there's no foam on it. That don't make sense. Let's see, I bet you somebody had this out. See, when you don't pull the battery out, you get to figure out how it was in here. I'm not thinking that's right. Looks to me like there's a pad missing. It obviously goes there. Always fun. We definitely have to come up a lot. We definitely have to have two big thick pads in there. That's a given there. Looks like to me there was nothing behind it. See no evidence of anything behind it. Okay, we'll go ahead and tighten the screws down all the way. Press a wrench just to make sure they're tight. Tight. sharp. Okay. Take the nut under here. It looks to me like originally I had a pad behind there, but it's gone now. So, anyway, to tighten it up, you just put the ratchet up in there, down under here. Just tighten it up like that. So I'm going to go look around and see if there's a missing pad. If there's not one missing, I'm going to find something to put in there because I don't want to have the gap. There's about a 1/2 inch gap on the other side of the battery. So I don't like that, so I'm going to do something for it. But anyway, you get the idea. So we'll come back next and we'll do the rear chain and stuff. So that's it for now.